My girlfriend suddenly asked me if I minded a woman who had been married before. I thought she was joking, or just having pre-wedding anxiety. So I just said I did not mind. After all, I had been in love with her for 10 years. There was no way she was a divorced woman. But the next day, I waited at the Civil Affairs Bureau until dark. I never saw my girlfriend. Instead, I saw her male assistants taunting posts on social media. From now on, Yimian is not just my sister. She is also my wife. Some people wait 10 years and land a project worth over 100 million yuan. So what if there is pressure to get married? It all means nothing compared to me saying and marrying someone else. The photo attached was his and my girlfriend's bright red marriage certificate. Co-workers were gossiping in the comments. They were all waiting to laugh at me for getting jealous and losing my mind. I just let out a cold laugh. Then I liked the post and commented, "Now that you have the marriage certificate, when are you planning to hold the wedding? I will definitely bring a red envelope with 3 yuan and 30 cents in it." The next second, my girlfriend called, her voice icy. "You said yourself that you did not mind. Besides, there was a reason I went to get the marriage certificate with Pei Jincheng. His parents were forcing him to quit his job and go on blind dates. I did not want to lose such talent, so I agreed to get the marriage certificate with him to deal with his parents. It is not like I am dumping you. Why do you have to be so sarcastic? I will give you 1 minute. Delete the comment, then apologize to Pei Jincheng. After I am done dealing with Pei Jincheng's parents, I will divorce him myself and get the marriage certificate with you." I laughed. "There is no need. Let's break up." As soon as I said that, my girlfriend Yimian fell silent for a moment on the other end of the line. When she spoke again, her voice was clearly edged with anger. "Chenzhou, I already told you, my marriage registration with Pei Jincheng is just a sham. It is just going through the motions. It was all to placate his parents. Do you really have to be so petty? Besides, I already promised I would get the marriage certificate with you. What more do you want from me? Even throwing a tantrum has to have a limit. Is breaking up something you can joke about casually?" I tightened my grip on the phone and looked at the empty hall before me. At the Civil Affairs Bureau, with only me and the staff left, I managed a bitter smile. This time, I did not swallow my grievance like I always had. Instead, I shot back coldly. "Yes, it is just going through the motions. From taking a number to finishing the registration, it would not even take 10 minutes. And yet, for something that simple, we had been together for 10 years. And you would not go through it with me. Instead, you got the certificate with Pei Jincheng. And this marriage registration was your idea in the first place. Yet you stood me up for an entire day. Shouldn't I be angry? For these 10 years, marrying Yimian had been my dream. Even in my dreams, I saw a happy married life with her. For that reason, I had prepared wedding candy and invitations long ago. I had even picked out the photo studio for our wedding photos and our wedding outfits. I had even chosen the venue for the wedding itself. As long as Yimian agreed, I could get married anytime. But every time I tried to move the wedding forward, Yimian always used the company as an excuse. She said the company was at a critical stage of development and told me to wait until things were stable to help her stabilize the company. I took on all the dirty work myself. I worked myself to the bone, staying up late and missing sleep. Later, once the company was stable, she said she still was not ready and asked me to wait some more. So I waited like that for 10 years. Until yesterday, when I learned I had secured a project worth over 100 million yuan for the company. The Yimian, who had long refused to move forward with the wedding, finally gave in and agreed to get the marriage certificate with me. She claimed it was my reward. I was overjoyed. I thought my years of waiting had finally paid off. I was so excited that I did not sleep all night. I even took the whole day off. I got up early and rushed to the Civil Affairs Bureau to wait. But I waited until dark and still did not see Yimian. Instead, I saw what Pei Jincheng had posted. It was a taunting post showing off his and Yimian's red marriage certificate. To avoid me, they even went to the neighboring province to get the marriage certificate. The bright red certificate in the photo stabbed at my eyes. So Yimian was not unprepared at all. She just did not want to get the certificate with me. Coming back to my senses, I realized Yimian was still cursing me. "Chenzhou, are you done yet? Didn't I already say there was a reason for it? Could I just stand there and watch Pei Jincheng be forced into marriage and jump into the fire pit? I was only trying to help the company keep talent. Was I wrong? I only found it ridiculous. There are so many people at the company under pressure to get married. Why does Su Yimian not try to keep them? Yet she only goes out of her way to pity and keep Pei Jincheng. Besides, what kind of talent is Pei Jincheng? His work ability is basically zero. He does not even know the basics of WPS Office. His performance is always at the bottom. He has not closed a single deal in half a year. If Su Yimian had not stolen my project to pad his numbers and protected him, he would have been fired long ago. Maybe Su Yimian herself never realized that her favoritism toward Pei Jincheng had already seeped into every detail of daily life. It was a care so deep she did not even notice it herself. It was her instinctive favoritism. Thinking of that, I gave a cold laugh. I was wrong. Hearing that, Su Yimian thought I had truly admitted fault. Her voice took on a hint of smugness and satisfaction. Since you know you were wrong, delete the comment already. Then apologize to Jincheng. What will the rest of the company think of Jincheng if you do this? Before she could finish, I cut her off. My biggest mistake was not breaking up with you sooner. Fu Chenzhou, you are impossible to reason with. You really want to make this a standoff, is that it? Just wait. Su Yimian hung up in a rage. Not long after, my phone started popping up. Notifications from every app saying our couple linkage had been removed. Not only that, she also changed the matching profile pictures she shared with me. Every time Su Yimian got angry, she would try to force me into backing down by humiliating me like this. But this time, I was truly tired. I did not want to coax her like I used to. I was about to lock my screen when Pei Jincheng tagged me in the work group chat. Brother Fu. There was a reason I got the marriage certificate with Su Yimian. Yimian just kindly helped me deal with my parents' pressure to get married. In this day and age, a boss like Yimian, a humane boss like her is hard to find. Don't misunderstand. If I had known you cared this much, I would not have posted that on my social feed. It is all my fault. I will apologize to you right now. Su Yimian followed up immediately. Pei Jincheng, you did nothing wrong. No need to apologize. The ones who should be apologizing are the ones being sarcastic. The ones making malicious assumptions. The co-workers in the chat picked up on Su Yimian's implication and immediately chimed in. Exactly. Assistant Pei. This is not your fault. Fu Chenzhou is just a petty. He is just jealous that you are young, handsome, and valued by Yimian. That is why he is twisting things so maliciously. Su Yimian is so kind. Fu Chenzhou, as Yimian's boyfriend, is cold-blooded and heartless. He does not have a shred of sympathy. He deserved to be stood up by Su Yimian. Su Yimian is so beautiful. She should have knocked the arrogance out of him. Ever since Pei Jincheng joined the company, and Su Yimian started favoring him, those fair-weather co-workers always flatter the powerful and trample the weak. They gossip behind my back. I had long since grown numb to it. This little bit of chatter could not hurt me. I could not be bothered to keep reading. I locked my phone and came back to my senses. The Civil Affairs Bureau staff looked at me sympathetically. Sir, you have been waiting all day. Has the person you are waiting for still not shown up? We are about to close. Why not come back tomorrow? I shook my head and said with my eyes lowered. She has already registered her marriage with someone else. She will not come back. I will not come back tomorrow either. Looking down at the number slip in my hand, I found it deeply ironic. I was the first one to arrive, yet the last one to leave. I let out a cold laugh. I tore it up and tossed it straight into the trash. I am done waiting for the person and done waiting for the wedding. I do not want a relationship that never gets a response. After throwing away the number slip, I strode toward the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. But just as I reached the door, Su Yimian called me. I meant to hang up, but I hit answer out of habit. The moment I answered, Su Yimian's haughty voice came through the line. Fu Chenzhou, do you know what you did wrong? Before I could answer, she went on. Now there is a chance for you to make up for it. Because of the marriage registration, Jincheng has been traveling all day, and he has been out in the cold, so he needs to rest properly. So, you will go to his evening business dinner in his place. As long as you behave yourself. I can overlook your earlier sarcasm. Hearing her speak as if she were ordering a servant around, I let out a cold laugh. Su Yimian must have forgotten that I waited for her at the Civil Affairs Bureau from morning until night, standing in the cold wind all day. Once, I merely stood in the wind a little longer and sneezed, and Su Yimian immediately brought me a coat and draped it over me, looking heartbroken. When we got home, she made hot ginger soup for me and gave me medicine to prevent illness, afraid I would catch a cold and ruin my health. but now she was bossing me around, as if I were nothing more than a convenient tool. She did not care about how I felt at all. More importantly, she seemed to have forgotten that I have a severe alcohol allergy. I cannot drink at all. Back then, when I had to swallow my pride and hustle through client dinners, when I was begging clients to sign deals, back then Su Yimian, for the sake of my health, would turn down every drinking event from me. If she really could not refuse, she would drink in my place. Every time, she got absolutely drunk. And when she came back, she would cling to the toilet and vomit violently. Yet she still made sure to think about how I felt. She would tell me not to worry, urge me to sleep quickly, and not let it affect my health. But now, the woman who used to have only me in her heart and eyes had finally changed her heart. This time, I did not do what I always had in the past. To preserve the fragile relationship between Su Yimian and me, I did not choose to bow my head in compromise. Instead, I refused her coldly. Su Yimian, I am allergic to alcohol. I cannot go. Besides, this is Pei Jinsheng's dinner. It is not part of my job. Maybe she did not expect me to refuse. There was a brief pause on the other end. Then Su Yimian flew into a rage. I am speaking to you nicely. And you insist on dragging this out, is that it? I pay your salary. So, you are supposed to listen to my orders 24 hours a day. That is your duty. I only smiled faintly. Then I quit. Without waiting for Su Yimian to reply, I hung up. Then I called a number I had not contacted in a long time. Mr. Zhang, I accept your invitation. The other side was a design company based overseas. It was also a major company with a strong reputation worldwide. We met because of a collaboration a year ago. When I was signing the contract, I happened to notice a new product they were about to launch. In pursuit of aesthetics, it had structural flaws. It could easily malfunction, break down, and cause serious negative fallout. After hearing my feedback, Mr. Zhang immediately sent people to investigate and verify it. Only then did they adjust the production line before the launch. That saved them tens of millions of dollars in losses. After that, Mr. Zhang became one of the few friends I had overseas. After sending people to look into my situation and discovering that I was being pushed aside at Su Yimian's company, he flew in from overseas overnight more than once, wanting to invite me to join their company. He promised me a design director position and stock options worth millions. But Su Yimian did not want to go abroad because of childhood trauma. She only wanted to stay in China. So I turned them down many times as well. I gave up a bright future to stay in China with her. I thought if I gave her my heart, she'd give me hers. In the end, I lost completely. Now that I think about it, for Su Yimian, I wasted my youth and wrecked my health. I went through 10 years of storms with her. Yet I did not even deserve a title or a place by her side. It was not worth it at all. Now it was time to think about myself. Soon, Mr. Zhang on the other end brought me back to reality with his delighted voice. Really? Fu, you are always welcome here. But did you not say before that you wanted to get married and settle down in China? Why the sudden change of heart? I gave an awkward smile. Nothing much. I just broke up. There was a pause on the other end. Then he comforted me. Fu, although I do not know the exact situation, I know what kind of person you are. Losing you is definitely her loss. The next second, my phone received a transfer of 50,000 yuan. Fu, take this travel money first and get yourself settled. I will be waiting for your answer overseas at any time. I smiled faintly. We chatted briefly about work. Then I hung up. I had just tapped to accept the payment when Su Yimian updated her moments. In the photo, she and Pei Jinsheng were at a newly opened trendy steakhouse. At a glance, it was all steak, pasta, and other Western dishes. The caption read, "A first meeting brings joy, and even after long together, the heart still races." Looking at the photo, Su Yimian was smiling brightly, eating the steak Pei Jinsheng fed her. I could not help letting out a mocking laugh. Su Yimian once said that the food she hated most was Western food. It was because her father was lured away by a foreign woman and abandoned her and her mother when she was 3. That left her with psychological scars. She not only hated Western food, she also resisted everything foreign. Even in business, she only dealt with domestic clients. She missed overseas orders worth at least over 100 million yuan. When we went on our first date, I had no idea. To make it feel special, I spent a month's savings and took her to the fanciest Western restaurant in the city center. But as soon as the steak, which cost several hundred yuan a plate, was served, Su Yimian darkened her face and flipped the table. She threw the scalding steak straight into my face. Then she turned and walked out without saying a word. She left me alone to be watched and mocked by everyone in the restaurant. When I got home, she gave me the cold shoulder for a full week. In the end, I knelt there for half a day in the restaurant, then transferred her more than 100,000 yuan as compensation. Only then did the matter finally blow over. And now, facing whatever Pei Jincheng was feeding her, some cheap processed steak that had probably been frozen for years, Su Yimian looked blissful and content, showing not the slightest bit of disgust. Looking at it that way, love really is the best medicine. It can even cure a broken heart with ease. But this time, I only smiled in closed moments. It was not until my stomach started growling that I remembered I had not eaten all day. I immediately texted my childhood friend. "Want to come out for barbecue?" He replied instantly. At the barbecue stall, my childhood friend was happily eating skewers. But then he seemed to remember something. He glanced at his watch and asked me cautiously, "By the way, isn't your girl strict with you? Doesn't she make you get home by 10? You are about to be late. Aren't you leaving?" It was almost laughable. After we got together, Su Yimian kept saying she did not feel secure, afraid I would fool around. She set strict rules for me. Not only did I have to be home before 10 at night, I also had to reply to her messages instantly. As for calls, no matter what happened, I was not allowed to let it ring for more than 3 seconds. If she called on video to check on me, even if I was discussing business with a client, if I dared hang up on her, she would storm out that night and give me the cold shoulder. Considering the psychological trauma caused by her family, I kept putting up with it in silence. But she was incredibly two-faced, often not replying all day. Sometimes she did not even come home all night. Once, I was just worried about her safety and called her on video. She flew into a rage. She sent dozens of messages in a row, saying I was too controlling and did not respect her privacy. She gave me the cold shoulder for a month. She thought she was hiding those little tricks very well. But I had long since seen the photos Pei Jincheng sent me, the ones of the two of them together, and knew it was nothing more than an excuse for her to stay with Pei Jincheng. It was ridiculous how I had been played like an idiot. I followed her curfew strictly. Several times I turned down dinners with friends because of that curfew. As a result, my friends slowly stopped inviting me. My social circle got smaller and smaller. By the end, my whole life was practically revolving around Su Yimian. Now that I think about it, everything I did was really not worth it. I bit hard into a skewer of meat. Do not worry. She cannot control me anymore. We have already broken up. My childhood friend froze for a moment at that. Then he patted me on the back. He was genuinely happy for me. Old Fu, you should have broken up long ago. With all the messed up things Su Yimian did, she was nowhere near worthy of how well you treated her. All right, let us not talk about this anymore. Dinner is on me tonight. If you do not eat your fill, you are not leaving. I smiled and nodded. I had the owner bring 2 more huge plates of barbecue. My childhood friend and I ate until after midnight before heading home. The moment I opened the door, a throw pillow flew straight into my face. Then Su Yimian's icy voice rang out. "What time is it? You still know how to come back?" I was a little surprised. I had not expected Su Yimian to be home. After all, every time she went out with Pei Jincheng to have fun, she would always use business entertaining as an excuse not to come home. Usually I would not even see her until the next afternoon. I was still stunned and could not dodge in time. The pillow slammed into me so hard it hurt, and bright red streams of blood ran from my nose. Su Yimian froze, and a flicker of guilt crossed her eyes. She picked up a tissue and started to rise to wipe it from me. But in the end, she stopped. She sat back down on the sofa and asked coldly, "Why are you back so late? The curfew time passed long ago. Where were you fooling around?" But I did not answer. Instead, I went on my own and dug through the drawer, looking for iodine and cotton swabs to disinfect the cut. Seeing that I was even ignoring her, Su Yimian immediately lost her temper. She kept badgering me without stopping. "Fu Chenzhou, I am asking you a question. Are you deaf? Or did you do something guilty behind my back and are too afraid to tell me?" At that, I let out a cold laugh. I met her gaze and asked back, "What about you? Why did you suddenly come back? No need to keep Pei Jincheng company anymore?" Su Yimian stiffened at once. It seemed she had not expected me to call out her little trick so directly. I had laid everything out on the table. Soon her brows knit together, and she snapped back. "What nonsense are you talking? I did not have any business entertaining today either. After I finished helping Pei Jincheng, I naturally came back. Before, Pei Jincheng and I were only on ordinary business trips and business entertaining. Stop imagining things. I came back to keep you company because I saw you were in a bad mood. It was wrong of me to stand you up today. But even so, you could not ignore my messages. And you still ran wild and came back this late. I thought something had happened to you, and I almost called the police. And you, on the other hand, come back and start with the sarcasm. After all that, I was even worried about whether you had eaten. I even packed your favorite seafood congee for you. I glanced at the congee on the coffee table, already completely cold, and could not stop myself from feeling nauseated. After all these years, she still had not realized that every time she pressured me to give in for Pei Jincheng's sake, she would order this seafood congee to win me over. So much so that the moment I smelled it, I felt physically sick. No need. I already ate. Su Yimian did not catch the coldness in my voice. Thinking she had already soothed me, she went on. By the way, Pei Jincheng just told me earlier that his parents are not easy to fool. They will not be satisfied unless they see wedding photos. So, tomorrow I still need to go take wedding photos with him. I remember you know a lot about this. Recommend a photo studio for us, one that delivers photos quickly. And tell us which wedding outfits are the prettiest. Watching Su Yimian give instructions, with her eyes full of happy anticipation, I felt even more disgusted. She clearly knew. I had been researching all this for our own wedding. Now she wanted me to help plan her and Pei Jincheng's wedding. Thinking of that, I refused at once. Figure it out yourselves? I have no advice to give. Su Yimian froze first, then completely lost her temper. Fu Chenzhou, I am only putting on a show with Pei Jincheng anyway. Do you really need to take it this seriously? But I exposed her anyway. Whether it is acting or real feelings, you know very well. After all, just now, when Su Yimian talked about taking wedding photos, her eyes were practically shining. Even a fool could see she had fallen for him for real. My retort made Su Yimian so angry she stamped her feet. This was the first time she had been shut down by me. You are impossible to reason with. I could not be bothered to argue with her and turned to go inside. But Su Yimian rushed in first and threw my pillow out. You are not allowed to sleep in the same bed as me. Tonight you can sleep in the study by yourself. Think carefully about what you did wrong. With that, she slammed the bedroom door shut. She even took out the key and turned the lock twice, like she was guarding against a thief. I knew she was trying to use this to force me to back down. She had no idea it played right into my hands. I had no intention of sleeping in the same bed with her anyway. I only wanted to pack up and leave as soon as possible. Anyway, in the bedroom there were only a few worn-out clothes that had been washed so many times over 3 or 4 years they were already warped out of shape. There was nothing else useful in there. I shook my head, picked up the suitcase from the corner of the living room, and took it to the study. While I was packing up the documents on the desk, a loose folder suddenly slipped open. The next second, hundreds of handwritten letters spilled all over the floor. I only glanced at them before freezing in place. They were all love letters I had once written to Su Yimian. That was 5 years ago. Back then, the seasonal flu was hitting hard. Su Yimian caught it by accident. Her fever even shot up to 41 degrees Celsius. She was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. Even after half a day of treatment, her fever still would not come down. In her feverish haze, Su Yimian truly thought she was going to die. She clutched my hand tightly and said she had not heard enough of the love letters I wrote. She wanted me to keep reading them to her. That way, even if she died, I could take those love letters and burn them at her grave. So, she would not be so lonely in the afterlife. To keep Su Yimian conscious and make treatment easier, I agreed at once through tears. I got paper and pen and wrote one thing after another about our relationship, reading her all the little things that had happened over the years. By the time Su Yimian finally broke the fever, I had already snapped 10 gel pens. Even the index finger I used to hold the pen was raw and bleeding. Each love letter was soaked not only with my tears, but also speckled with my blood. Only when Su Yimian fully woke up and recovered did she see that my right hand had, from holding the pen for so long, cramped and twisted out of shape. She immediately cried until her eyes were red and held me tightly. Sobbing, she promised she would treat me well for the rest of her life, and would never let me be hurt again. But now she had Pei Jincheng, and for Pei Jincheng's sake, she had hurt me again and again. In the end, she still failed to keep her promise. Coming back to myself, I took a deep breath. I did not take those love letters with me. Instead, I threw them all into the trash. The love she gave me had already expired. Keeping them would only disgust me and serve no purpose. But after I finished packing up the documents and looked at the nearly empty study, with a suitcase that was not even half full, I could not help laughing. On ordinary days, Yimian always complained that the company's operating pressure was huge, that cash was tight, and told me to save all my salary, to plan early for our future wedding. At that time, there would not only be the wedding, but also the bride price and the 3 gold pieces, plus buying the marital home and decorating it. Money would be needed everywhere. I fell for her grand promises and lived as frugally as possible. Whether it was the dog days of summer, hot enough to fry an egg on the pavement, or a blizzard so cold that even wearing down jackets made me shiver, I always wore the same 9.9 yuan construction site safety shoes, with free shipping. When ordering takeout, I also squeezed my way into more than 100 so-called discount groups, spent all my energy camping out for coupons just to save 1 or 2 yuan, and ended up eating cheap pre-assembled meals. And all the money I saved went to Yimian. But she turned around and emptied her shopping cart. She bought serums that cost over 1,000 yuan a bottle, and wore high heels that cost several thousand yuan a pair, becoming the most polished, dazzling person in her social circle. Now that I think about it, I was also blinded by her marriage promise. For a woman who did not love me, I worked myself into a mess of health problems at such a young age. It was really not worth it. With that time and money, I would rather invest in myself and make myself a better person. Thinking of that, I shook my head. I stopped dwelling on a past that could not be salvaged. I dragged my suitcase and was about to leave, when a sudden metallic clash sounded behind me. I turned back to look. My suitcase had it, the metal safe in the corner. That safe was Yimian's most precious thing. I still remember when a super typhoon made landfall before, and the windows at home were all blown out. Yimian did not even care about her own life, and risked everything to drag that safe first to somewhere safe. No one ever knew what was actually in it. What was actually inside that safe? I had once been curious too. Seeing that it only had a 4-digit password, I tried many times. My days with Yimian. My birthday. Yimian's birthday. Her mother's birthday. Even the day her mother and father divorced. I tried them all. But I never unlocked it once. Once, I was so curious I simply hired a locksmith. I planned to get to the bottom of it. But when the locksmith came, he only glanced at it, then packed up his tools and turned to leave. Even if I offered more money, he just kept shaking his head. It was only after I wore him down that I finally learned from the locksmith that this plain-looking safe, only the size of a makeup case, was far from ordinary. Not only was the lock cylinder using advanced foreign nanotech anti-theft technology, even the safe itself was made of imported aerospace-grade materials. It was impossible to damage. Clearly, the safe was extremely expensive. Yimian had put a lot of thought into it too. Seeing that neither soft nor hard methods would work, I had no choice but to give up. So even though Yimian and I had been dating for so many years, I still never knew what exactly was hidden inside that safe. Now that I was about to leave, maybe it was lingering obsession, or maybe I just wanted to test a guess. I half-believingly entered Yimian's breakup date with her ex. I had no real expectations. After all, Yimian had never mentioned that ex. If I had not once overheard her best friend mention it by accident, I would not even have known that Yimian had had a relationship before this. But the safe made a click and unlocked on its own. I could not help freezing. Who exactly was Yimian's ex? Enough to make her think about him so obsessively she did not even care about her life. The next second, when I opened the safe, my pupils suddenly tightened. The safe was crammed full of carefully preserved keepsakes sealed in vacuum bags. Carefully preserved small items. Some were toys, some were bookmarks, and some were nothing more than a lollipop. I was still confused when, on the back of those vacuum bags, I saw labels neatly pasted on them, recording where each item came from. May 7, 2016. Zhang gave me food for the first time in class. A strawberry-flavored lollipop. So happy. Today even my mood tastes like strawberry. June 7, 2016. Today is my birthday. Zhang used foxtail grass to weave me a grass ring. He said he would marry me and make me his bride someday. So embarrassing. I have not even agreed to marry him yet. January 1, 2017. Tonight is New Year's Eve. Jincheng gave me New Year's chocolate. I really want to eat it. But this is Jincheng's affection, so I have to treasure it properly. Just looking at a few things. And I had no desire to keep reading. No wonder every time Yimian secretly hid alone in the study late at night, there was always a faint, muffled laugh. Even after not sleeping all night. The next day she still looked full of energy with a smile at the corners of her eyes. So these were all memories of Pei Jincheng that she had treasured. I gave a mocking laugh. I had thought Yimian was simply tired of our relationship and had only gotten together with Pei Jincheng on a whim. The male assistant. I had never expected Pei Jincheng to be her secret ex she never mentioned. And her feelings for Pei Jincheng were not a momentary impulse at all, but something she could not let go of. Then what were all these years of my feelings for her supposed to mean? But that question, no matter what the answer was, had long since become meaningless. My fate with Yimian had ended here. Thinking that, I shook my head and grabbed my suitcase. I left this home without looking back. I moved into a hotel near the airport. The next day, I finally slept soundly for once. After getting up, I casually sent Yimian my resignation request. I was about to wash up when, the next second, my phone chimed with an approval notification. On ordinary days, the messages I sent Yimian usually took at least 3 or 4 hours to get any response. I had not expected her to approve it instantly this time. I was wondering why Yimian was suddenly so efficient. When Pei Jincheng sent me a photo of him and Yimian trying on wedding outfits at a bridal shop, the provocation could not have been clearer. So, what if you were with Yimian for 10 years? In the end, the one accompanying her to get the marriage certificate and take wedding photos is still me. I sneered inwardly. No wonder Yimian approved it instantly. She was busy trying on wedding outfits with Pei Jincheng. She could not spare even a second from me. Every time Yimian went on a date with Pei Jincheng, she had no time for anything else. Because of that, she stood me up hundreds of times. After resigning, I walked out of the office. But the moment I got out, I heard my co-workers openly gossiping around me. Ridiculous. So what if he was her ex-boyfriend? Wasn't he still kicked out? Someone even tried to play hard to get and ended up digging her own grave. Some even picked up a cup and pretended to slip, splashing me all over with water, waiting to enjoy my humiliation. But this time, I did not endure it like before. One sidestepped it, grabbed someone else's cup, and threw the water over his head. I left because someone poached me with a high salary. Unlike you, who do not even have the chance to jump ship. After I shut them down, I ignored the way my co-workers' faces darkened and walked away without looking back. After leaving the company, I separately told Mr. Zhang and my childhood friend that I had resigned. Then I booked a flight for that night. Just after I booked it, my childhood friend messaged me, saying he wanted to throw me a farewell dinner before I left. On the way to the restaurant, we happened to pass a photo studio. My childhood friend suddenly stopped. He pointed at the 2 people above and blurted out, "Fu Chenzhou, isn't that Yimian and Pei Jincheng?" I looked up and froze. The wedding suit I had once looked forward to so much was now on Pei Jincheng's body. It was as if he could so easily take everything that was mine. My project, my marriage registration, and even my dream of getting married had all been stolen by him. My childhood friend could not stand it. He immediately rolled up his sleeves and was about to rush in to demand an explanation from me. I stopped him calmly. Forget it. Before leaving, I just wanted to have a proper meal. There was no need to waste time on people like them. Besides, Yimian and I had already broken up. What she did now had nothing to do with me. I turned to leave. Just then, Yimian saw me. Maybe because she felt guilty, Yimian instinctively panicked. She hurriedly let go and put distance between herself and Pei Jincheng. "Fu Chenzhou, what are you doing here?" Pei Jincheng gave me a provoking glance and said with a smile that was not quite a smile, "Yimian, Fu must have asked HR about our whereabouts and followed us on purpose. His provocation set Yimian off too. You were stalking us. Fu Chenzhou, we were together for 10 years. You do not even trust me that much." I laughed in anger and shot back coldly. "And what about you? When have you ever trusted me?" Pei Jincheng says a few words and you believe him, don't you? Then you doubt me. Pei Jincheng's eyes reddened. "Fu, you misunderstood me and Yimian. We are only taking wedding photos to deal with my parents. Since you care that much, then we won't take them. I'll go have the marriage registration cancelled right away. At worst, I'll just go back and do blind dates." Pei Jinsheng pretended to leave. Su Yimian pulled him back at once, glared at me coldly, and snapped. Enough, Fu Chenzhou. Is this really the time for petty jealousy? Do you have to drive Jinsheng into a dead end? Didn't we agree that once we were done dealing with Jinsheng's parents, I'd get the marriage certificate with you? Why can't you wait even a few days? Besides, it's working hours now. You're skipping work. According to policy, your pay has to be docked. Go back now, and I can let this go. And if I don't, if you keep making trouble like this, believe it or not, I'll fire you. Su Yimian stared at me tightly, the threat obvious. She thought I couldn't bear to leave the company I had worked so hard for all these years. And even less could I bear to leave her after so many years together. Every time, she used resignation and breakup to manipulate me as she pleased. But facing her 99th threat, I wasn't angry. I actually laughed. No need. Because just now, I already resigned. The next second, I took out my phone and showed her the resignation approval she had just processed not long ago. Seeing the approval, Su Yimian's pupils shrank. Resigned? When did I ever agree to let you resign? Seeing that, Pei Jinsheng curved his lips and fanned the flames. Fu, no matter how upset you are, you do not have to joke about resigning. And you even deliberately forged a fake approval just to anger Sister Yimian. Sister Yimian is already exhausted managing the company as a woman. What if you make her sick from anger? Hearing that, Su Yimian immediately shot me a disappointed look and said coldly, Fu Chenzhou, you're a grown man. How are you still not as sensible as Jinsheng? You even deliberately forged a fake approval just to anger me. Too bad I do not buy your little push-pull act. My patience has limits too. Enough is enough. Keep this up and you've gone too far. After a pause, she delivered her final ultimatum. I'll give you one last chance. Before I change my mind, get back to work now. Otherwise, your commission this month will be deducted to 0. Meeting Su Yimian's warning gaze, I knew she was serious, but I found it absurdly ironic. I had already put the screenshots in front of her, yet she would rather believe Pei Jinsheng's provocation than believe my explanation. I said coldly, suit yourself. Anyway, I've already resigned. Seeing me keep talking back to her, Su Yimian also lost her temper. Fu Chenzhou, you're still lying. Do you really think I won't deal with you? Since you refuse the toast and insist on the harsher penalty, then don't blame me for being rude. Su Yimian thought I was just talking in anger. Furious, she called HR directly. The moment it connected, she snapped coldly at HR. Deduct all of Fu Chenzhou's commission for this month. As she spoke, she shot me a smug glance, trying to force me to bow and compromise this way. But the next second, HR's words hit her like a thunderclap, leaving her frozen in place. Deduct what commission? Miss Su, did you forget? Fu Chenzhou already resigned. Hearing HR's explanation, Su Yimian's beautiful eyes flew wide open, stunned. When did that happen? Just half an hour ago. When I sent you the resignation request message, you approved it instantly. I thought you had already discussed it. Only then did Su Yimian belatedly remember that half an hour ago she had been busy trying on wedding outfits with Pei Jinsheng. She must have clicked approve without looking closely. Thinking of that, her face turned pale. Her tone carried a hint of blame. Something this important, you could not even think to remind me? The HR person on the other end of the phone was almost crying. Miss Su, wasn't that your instruction? You said that from now on, aside from anything concerning assistant pay that needed to be reported, no one else needed to be notified. Especially Fu Chenzhou's every little thing was left for me to handle, and not bother you with it unless necessary. Hearing HR say that, I knew Su Yimian did not care about me, but I never expected her to be this indifferent toward me. She did not even want to hand off the basic work to me. Still, thanks to her indifference, I would not have been able to resign so smoothly. After HR said that, Su Yimian looked awkward for a moment before snapping. How can that be the same? Besides, what I said then was only in anger. If you cannot even tell that much apart, what use are you? Just to make trouble for me. Enough. You're fired. Pack your things and get out. After slamming down the phone in a rage, Su Yimian carefully watched my expression and softened her tone. Fu Chenzhou, this is all a misunderstanding. It is all HR's fault for being so careless. Not even being able to tell a kind word from a harsh one. I was too busy then. So I accidentally clicked approve. But I never meant for you to resign. So this approval does not count. Before she could finish, I cut in coldly. Whether you meant to or not, you approved it. Legally, that makes it binding. I have already resigned. Su Yimian's face went even paler, and just as she was about to say something, Pei Jincheng interrupted from the side. Su Yimian, I am sorry. What happened between you and Brother Fu is all my fault. If I had not insisted on dragging you along to a sham marriage registration with me, and to take wedding photos with me to deal with my parents, Brother Fu might not have been angry enough to resign. The one who should resign is me. I will go handle my resignation in a moment. I will go back to my hometown, go on blind dates, and get married. You and Brother Fu should not keep fighting over me. I do not want to be the sinner who ruins your relationship. As he spoke, Pei Jincheng even reached out to pull me, pretending to persuade me. Brother Fu, job hunting is so hard these days. What good job could you still find after leaving Su Yimian? Just soften up and apologize to Su Yimian. No need to joke with your own future. With that reminder from him, Su Yimian also seized the chance to use my job to corner me and snorted coldly. Fu Chenzhou, you're already old enough, and your career is nearly over. Who would still want you without me? If you apologize to Jincheng now, and obediently go back to work, I can pretend this resignation approval never happened. Otherwise, when you really cannot find a job, do not come crying back to me. Before I could speak, my childhood friend could not stand it any longer, and stepped in from me. Who says Fu Chenzhou cannot find work? Do you not know? Chenzhou has already accepted an offer from a major overseas company. He leaves this afternoon. We came out today for a farewell dinner. Who knew we would run into the two of you and ruin the mood? My childhood friend shot Su Yimian a cold look and said with a muffled snort, Su Yimian, you still do not know, do you? The salary and benefits from the overseas company are far better than yours. Leaving you, Chenzhou will only fly higher and go farther. Staying by your side is the real misfortune. Ridiculous, really. I worked like a dog for Su Yimian for 10 years. She only gave me a raise once, and it was only 500 yuan. After the raise, my base salary was only 100 yuan higher than an intern's. Yet my workload was 10 times theirs. Su Yimian kept dangling empty promises and told me not to fuss over it. She said once we got married, the company and the money would be half mine too. But I waited 10 years. The wedding candies in my drawer melted away. Even the invitations turned yellow. And still I never got the wedding with her I had waited for. What I got instead was her favoritism and her betrayal. Hearing my childhood friends say that, Su Yimian froze on the spot. A flash of jealousy crossed Pei Jincheng's eyes. Brother Fu, why look for work anywhere else? Why insist on looking for a job overseas? You know overseas is a sore spot for Sister Yimian. Of course I know Su Yimian cannot go abroad. That is exactly why I did it. I want never to see her again for the rest of my life. With Pei Jincheng stirring things up like that, Su Yimian flew into a rage. Fu Chenzhou, you did that on purpose, didn't you? You not only resigned in a fit of spite, you even insist on going abroad. I was only putting on an act with Jincheng. Do you really need to keep making a scene over this? I order you to quit that overseas job right now. Otherwise, I will break up with you. And forget about us getting the marriage certificate. Su Yimian knew I could not bear to leave her. So, whenever we disagreed, she used breaking up to threaten me. Before, because I loved her. Every time she brought up breaking up, I would swallow my pride and admit fault. I would beg for her forgiveness. But now, she could no longer threaten me. I gave a cold laugh. Su Yimian, have you forgotten? 2 days ago, when you and Pei Jincheng got the marriage certificate, we had already broken up. At that, Su Yimian seemed to suddenly remember something. Her body trembled, and she froze on the spot. Meanwhile, Pei Jincheng's lips curved upward, his eyes glittering with the delight of someone about to move up in the world. It took Su Yimian quite a while to recover. Wait, what you said that day was not just anger talking. It was real. You really want to break up with me. I have always been serious. Seeing how calm I looked, Su Yimian bit her lip hard. Just because I got the marriage certificate with Jincheng. Hearing that, Su Yimian looked like she might collapse, visibly losing her composure. Fu Chenzhou, our 10 years together. And you want to break up with me over something this small. I was just going through the motions with Jincheng. Was that really necessary? Looking at her disbelieving face, I found it ridiculous. Necessary? Su Yimian, I waited 10 years and still could not get you to go get the marriage certificate with me. Yet Pei Jincheng was only being pressured into marriage, and you went and got the certificate with him so easily. Who matters more in your heart? The answer is obvious, isn't it? So what if it was 10 years of love? For Pei Jincheng, whom you had known for less than half a year, you still tossed aside your boyfriend of 10 years. The boyfriend you had loved for 10 years, and left me at the Civil Affairs Bureau all day. Do you know how envious I was watching all those couples come and go with their marriage certificates? With my retort, Su Yimian was left speechless, a trace of guilt flashing in her eyes. Fu Chenzhou, I did not deliberately stand you up that day. I know it was wrong of me to make you wait, but I also promised you that after I helped Jincheng deal with his parents, I would go get the marriage certificate with you. If that is not enough for you, I will give you a grand wedding to make it up to you. Would that be enough? I laughed. Su Yimian, even now, you still put Pei Jincheng first. What is there left to say? I should have broken up with you sooner. I should have ended it sooner and let the two of you be together. Pei Jincheng also tried to smooth things over from the side. Su Yimian, I know you feel awful after breaking up with Brother Fu, but since you have broken up, stop clinging to the past. Life is long. You have to look ahead. Now that you and Brother Fu have broken up, you still have me. No matter what happens, I will stay with you. I will not leave you. I thought Su Yimian would naturally go along with Pei Jincheng and end up with him. But the next second, she shoved him away. She rushed up to me, panicked. Grabbing my hand, she said with red-rimmed eyes, No, Fu Chenzhou, I will not let you break up with me. We both agreed to be together in the first place. So why should it be your call to end it now? I do not agree. I was a little surprised. She liked Pei Jincheng that much, so I let go and gave them my blessing. She should have been happy. Why did she suddenly not want that? But I could not be bothered to think it through and simply pulled my hand back without a word. Su Yimian, our breakup is already a done deal. Even if you disagree, it will not change anything, seeing how much time I had already wasted on them. And since lunch was long past, my boarding time was almost here. I could only apologize to my childhood friend. Sorry, bro. I probably will not make it to this farewell dinner. I still have to catch a flight soon. My childhood friend patted my shoulder and nodded. No big deal. It's just one meal. Of course your future matters more. They'll take you to the airport in a bit. Just as my childhood friend and I were about to get in the car and leave, Su Yimian suddenly gritted her teeth and rushed up to grab my arm. No, we have not made the breakup clear. You cannot leave. But looking at Su Yimian as she argued with shameless logic, I gave a cold laugh and shook off her hand. Su Yimian, do not forget you are Mrs. Pei now. You are a married woman. We are not that close. Do not let your husband, Pei Jincheng, misunderstand. I deliberately stressed the words husband. Su Yimian also caught the meaning behind my words. Her face darkened at once. Fu Chenzhou, so you really are jealous and angry. Are you playing hard to get with me? How many more times do I have to explain it to you? I already said I was just going through the motions with Pei Jincheng. We will divorce soon enough. It is not like I am refusing to get the marriage certificate with you. Do you really need to make such a scene? I found it laughable. My own fiancé was stolen by someone else, and I still would not have the right to break up. Should I keep playing the clown? Let everyone mock me and treat me like a joke. Even now, Su Yimian, who kept claiming she loved me, had never once cared about how I felt. Thinking of that, I simply shook my head. Su Yimian, there is nothing left for us to talk about. With that, I turned to leave with my childhood friend. Su Yimian stamped her foot in panic. She immediately tried to chase after me and keep clinging on. But the next moment, a cry of pain came from behind her. I turned and saw Pei Jincheng crouched on the ground. He was clutching his chest, gasping hard, and looked miserable as he said, Sister Yimian, I suddenly had an asthma attack. It hurts so much. Can you take me to the hospital? His face was rosy. It was obvious he was faking it. This was already one of Pei Jincheng's usual tricks. He had often used this method to compete for attention before, stirring trouble and driving a wedge between Su Yimian and me. But this time, she said coldly, Jincheng, I am busy right now. Take a taxi yourself. The second she finished, Pei Jincheng froze. It seemed he had not expected Su Yimian, who had always indulged him, and always granted every request, to refuse him this time. In an instant, his eyes flashed with impatience and venom. But soon, he was performing his old routine again. His right hand clamped over his chest as he put on the look of someone about to suffocate to death. At the same time, he forced out a pale, fragile smile and tried to sound magnanimous. It is fine. Sister Yimian, You should comfort Brother Fu first. Brother Fu's business is more important. My body should not be unlucky enough for this to kill me. I can go to the hospital myself." With that, Pei Jincheng struggled to his feet and staggered to steps. Someone who did not know any better would have thought he had been stabbed several times and suffered some grave injury. Seeing that Su Yimian still had not moved, Pei Jincheng gritted his teeth and pretended his footing gave way. The next second, he crashed to the ground. Even his arm was accidentally scraped. Barely a thumbnail-sized patch of skin. Su Yimian's lashes trembled. Her eyes were full of unconcealed distress. In the end, she still softened. She looked at me with guilt written all over her face. "Fu Chenzhou, this is a matter of life and death. I cannot just stand by and do nothing. I will take Jincheng to the hospital first. I will be back soon. Wait here for me a moment. I will be right back. Then let us make everything clear, okay?" Without waiting for my reply, she hurriedly helped Pei Jincheng into the car. Then she floored the accelerator and sped off, blowing through red lights toward the hospital. Watching their receding backs, I was not surprised at all. As expected, Su Yimian chose Pei Jincheng again. But this time, I would not listen to a single explanation from her again. I would not wait for her anymore. Snapping out of it, my childhood friend and I had already booked a ride-hailing car. We went home for my luggage and then headed straight to the airport. On the way, I looked out at the streets outside the car window, streets I knew all too well. I felt a little dazed. Ever since I came to the city with Su Yimian, it had already been 10 years. This time, once I left, I probably would never come back. I shook my head, drew my gaze back, and was just about to close my eyes and rest. But the next second, my phone suddenly rang with a string of message alerts. I opened them to check. It turned out to be a taunting text from Pei Jincheng. In the video, he had always looked calm and composed. But right now, in the hospital corridor, he was panicked, like a little girl who had accidentally lost her favorite doll. Doctor, please save him. He is still young. He cannot die. How much? You can have however much money you want. Use the best imported medicine, no matter what. Get the best doctors. Soon." Su Yimian soon spent a fortune and booked the entire hospital for him. She also called all the doctors and specialists to the ward and said they had to cure him. Otherwise, she would use her connections to cut off the hospital's equipment import channels. Watching the whole hospital become busy, for someone who did not even have any illness at all, I could only look on as chaos unfolded. Pei Jincheng felt no guilt at all about wasting medical resources. Instead, he was completely pleased with himself, and smugly sent me a message. "Fu Chenzhou, did you see that? This is Sister Yimian's love for me. Between you and me, Sister Yimian still chose me in the end. You lost? You were with Sister Yimian for 10 years. Have you ever been treated like this?" I smiled faintly. As he wished, I replied. "Then I wish you both a lifetime of happiness." After sending the message, I was just about to close the screen. But Su Yimian called me right after that. I only glanced at it before hanging up and not answering. The next second, she started spamming me with texts. "Fu Chenzhou, did I not say I would be back soon? I told you to wait for me where you were. Why would you not listen to me? Where are you now? Which airport are you going to? Send me your location. I will come find you right now." I found it ridiculous. I waited for her in the same place for 10 years, and she never once looked back. Only after I finally made up my mind to leave did she start turning around to chase after me. Unfortunately, it was all too late. I had already given up on her, and I would not stay for her anymore. After that, I found Su Yimian irritating, so I simply turned my phone off. Once I got to the airport, I went through security and waved goodbye to my childhood friend. I was just about to board when a woman's voice suddenly rang out behind me. "Fu Chenzhou, wait." I turned and saw it was Su Yimian. She was covered in sweat and panting hard. It was obvious she had run here. While I was still stunned, she had already rushed up to me and complained. "Fu Chenzhou, why did you not reply to my messages? Why did you not stay where you were and wait for me? Do you know I almost lost you forever?" I felt nothing moved at all. Instead, I coldly reached out and pushed her away. "How did you find me here? Did you install a tracker in my phone or something?" At that, Su Yimian's eyes instantly turned red, and she said aggrievedly, "How could you suspect me like that? I called every airline and checked every flight schedule. That was the only way I found out where you were. And there was traffic on the way, so I had to run here." My feet are almost rubbed raw from these heels. Do you not feel even a little sorry for me? I glanced at the cheap high heels on her feet that did not fit at all, and could not help letting out a cold laugh. Su Yimian. Back then, I gave you custom high heels worth tens of thousands, and you did not want them. You insisted on wearing the pair Pei Jincheng haggled over for 20 yuan at a street stall. Heels that did not even fit your size. You even said it was all his heartfelt effort, and you could not let him down. You said if you wore them enough, they would eventually fit. Now your feet are rubbed raw. So, why are you coming to complain to me instead of settling accounts with Pei Jincheng? Su Yimian's face stiffened at that. Only then did she realize that this was all her own fault, the consequence of her own willfulness. After a long silence, Su Yimian finally stammered out, Fu Chenzhou. I admit I did some things wrong before. It was my fault. I know you are angry because Pei Jincheng and I crossed boundaries in the way we interacted. I promise you, I will change from now on. But I really cannot live without you. Please, don't go. Do not go abroad. Get back together with me, okay? Let's start over. This time, I will definitely love you properly. Seeing that I stayed silent, Su Yimian took a deep breath, as if she had made up her mind. As long as you are willing to stay, we can get the marriage certificate and hold a wedding right now. Okay, there is no need for that. After I refused her, Su Yimian frowned. Chenzhou, I have already compromised this much. What more do you want? Do I have to kneel, apologize to you before you will be satisfied? I shook my head and said coldly, even if you kneel and apologize now, it will be useless. I have truly decided to go abroad. I will make way for you and Pei Jincheng. Seeing how firm I was, Su Yimian grew a little petulant. Fu Chenzhou, do you think that once you go abroad, I will really be powerless against you? With the company's current standing in the industry, we can easily tamper with your background check. Then you will be in for a world of trouble. At that, I only gave a calm smile. Is that so? Then by all means, try blacklisting me. Without giving Su Yimian a chance to react, I grabbed my luggage and boarded the plane without looking back. After a day-long flight, the plane had just landed, and I saw Mr. Zhang waiting for me at the airport. Phew, I finally managed to bring in my lucky star. Let's go. I arranged a place just for you near the company. A 100 square meter apartment. Go take a look and see if it suits you. If it feels too small, I will get you a larger flat instead. Warmth stirred in my chest. Back in China, because commuting to work took too much time and energy, I had once suggested to Su Yimian that we should live near the company and rent a smaller studio or apartment. Even if it were only a dozen square meters, it would still save all that travel time. That would leave us for extra hours to use however we wanted. But Su Yimian flew into a rage the moment she heard it. She slapped the documents onto the table and scolded me for spending money recklessly. She said the company was under such heavy financial pressure now, and even Pei Jincheng knew to help the company save money by drinking less water at the office. As a company veteran, I only cared about comfort and was selfish and self-serving. I did not consider her or the company's situation at all. But Su Yimian had never considered that with my ability, the 4 hours a day I spent commuting could have brought her returns hundreds of times over. But no matter how I explained it, Su Yimian kept insisting I was just making excuses. She said I simply could not handle hardship and was looking for excuses to slack off. Later, Su Yimian and I had a huge fight and parted on bad terms. She was so furious she dragged her suitcase and moved into a hotel near the company. She gave me the cold shoulder for a month and only dropped it after I pleaded and apologized. Snapping back to reality, I shook my head. I no longer wanted to think about those old memories. After Mr. Zhang arranged my accommodation, he took me around the new company. He also handled my onboarding, with the boss and HR leading the way. I quickly adapted to life overseas. I threw myself into work because I was exceptionally capable. Within a week of joining, I had already won the company, a deal worth several million. The boss was so pleased he gave me a promotion and a raise on the spot. He even threw a celebration banquet for me. The colleagues at the new company were easy to get along with as well. Everyone helped one another, and the work atmosphere was excellent. As a result, my work efficiency improved a great deal. At Su Yimian's company before, everyone only thought about currying favor with her as the boss, or flattering Pei Jincheng, the favorite at her side. No one was truly serious about their own work. After changing work environments, my career was not just thriving, it was soaring. Life was going smoothly too. I had thought the gloom of the past had finally lifted. I thought the days ahead would stay this way. But I still underestimated Yimian's thirst for revenge. In my second month after joining the company, the Asia-Pacific Partnership project I had carefully prepared for half a month had already been pushed to the final stage. I had even already set a time with the client. All that was left was for the client to come to the company and sign. But on the morning of the signing day, I waited in the lounge for an hour in vain, only to receive a call from the other party's boss. "I'm sorry, Mr. Fu. We have to cancel this cooperation." My mind buzzed, and for a moment I thought I had misheard him. "Cancel? Are you joking?" I forced down the unease in my chest and tried to salvage it. "Haven't we already finalized every detail? The terms, the timeline, the cost. If there's anything you're not satisfied with, we can absolutely talk it over again. After all, Mr. Zhang trusted me so much. He spent a fortune to recruit me from overseas. Not only did he rent me an excellent apartment, he also gave me treatment far better than I had at Yimian's place. By reason and by feeling, I should deliver results. I can't waste Mr. Zhang's expectations." But the man on the other end let out a long sigh. "Mr. Fu, this is not about money. I'll be straight with you. Someone is targeting you behind the scenes. We're just a small business, and we really can't afford to offend that big shot. Targeting me? I've only been overseas for a month. Who have I offended?" The next second, a name flashed through my mind in an instant, popped into my head. My grip on the phone tightened until my knuckles went pale, and my voice turned icy. Yimian. The other side fell silent, but that silence was answer enough. After a long moment, he seemed to make up his mind and lowered his voice. "Mr. Fu, to be honest with you, several suppliers in the industry have all received calls from Yimian's side. She made it clear that, as long as they do not work with the company you are with, she will pay double. Double." I murmured to myself, then let out a bitter laugh. So what Yimian said at the airport, that I would be in for a world of trouble, was not just an angry remark. She really meant to do it. She would rather take a loss herself and sacrifice the company's profits than let me stay away. What a grand gesture. But with her company's cash flow already hanging by a thread, snatching my client with a double offer would not make money and might not even break even. This was a suicide attack. What gave her the confidence to act so recklessly without fear? In that split second, a memory I had deliberately buried came flooding back. That contract I had personally secured for her, signed with Starry Group, a top Asia-Pacific multinational, was a 3-year long-term cooperation agreement. Just this one agreement could bring her over $1 billion yuan in net profit every year. Without exaggeration, I alone carried 70% of her company's revenue. I was the undisputed top seller of the year, without question. Saying the whole company survived on me would not be an exaggeration at all. She thought that once she signed this agreement, with this goose laying golden eggs nonstop, she could spend recklessly, just to get revenge. Too bad. But for all Yimian's calculations, she forgot one very important thing. Back then, she had only cared about the astronomical figures on the contract. She had never bothered to read the clauses carefully. But I remembered every word of that contract clearly. Under this 3-year agreement, a new design draft had to be submitted every year. Only after Starry Group's review department approved it could the cooperation continue into the next year. At that thought, I lifted my wrist and checked the time. By my count, in 1 more week it would be the final deadline for the 2nd year submission. The reason Starry Group had chosen to work with a nobody like us. They valued my one-of-a-kind original design concept. Now that I have left the company, I would like to see what they can do without my original designs. With nothing but Yimian's precious favorite, Pei Jincheng. What on earth could they come up with? Oh, right. There was one more thing. I think Yimian must have forgotten this too. Although that contract offered an extremely high return, the company also had to bear all the risk. It was written in black and white in the agreement that, if midway through, the design failed to meet the standard, and Starry Group unilaterally canceled the cooperation, then Yimian's company would have to pay 5 times the liquidated damages as compensation. And 5 times the liquidated damages was an astronomical sum that would force Yimian to sell the company and still not be able to pay it back. At that thought, the last trace of irritation in me vanished. In its place came a calm sense that everything was under control. Mr. Fu, are you still there?" Wu Dai's voice came through the phone, asking. I leaned back on the lounge sofa, shifted into a more comfortable position, and said, I'm listening. Wu Nian. It's fine. I understand. If we can't work together, we can still part on good terms. I hope we have another chance in the future. And I believe it won't be long before we meet again. With that, I ended the call, tossed my phone aside, and let the corner of my mouth lift. Su Yimian, don't you want to blacklist me? Go ahead and try. I'll be waiting to watch you light the fuse yourself, then be blown apart by the bomb you buried with your own hands. Over the next week. Sure enough, one after another, 3 or 4 more projects that were in progress fell through. The emails from the partners were nearly identical in wording. Sorry. The situation has changed. The atmosphere in the whole company turned suffocating. It felt like a blade was hanging over everyone's head. Zhang Nian, the new boss of our overseas branch, a hot-tempered middle-aged man, finally lost his temper in the conference room and slammed his hand on the table. Bang! The impact shook the water right out of the teacups. This is outrageous. This is straight-up thug behavior. Who does Su Yimian think she is? Is this how business competition works? This is malicious damage to our business reputation. No rules, no ethics. Legal. Prepare the documents for me. I am suing her for unfair competition. The conference room fell dead silent. Everyone was so frightened by Zhang Nian's rage that no one dared make a sound. I only smiled calmly. It's just the calm before the storm. Su Yimian, the harder you swing, the worse you'll fall. I handed Zhang Nian a bottle of water to calm him down and said evenly, Zhang Nian, don't lose your temper. Let's just collect the evidence carefully. As for the lawsuit, I paused, looked into his bloodshot eyes, and said each word clearly. There is no need for us to act. She'll blow herself up soon enough. Zhang Nian looked at me suspiciously, clearly worried. But I didn't explain any further. Facts are always the best proof. I had just walked out of the conference room and was about to go back to my desk to keep working when my phone suddenly buzzed. A number I thought I would never hear from again in this lifetime lit up on the screen. Su Yimian. I swiped to answer, not even bothering to walk to a quiet corner. Her laughter burst through the line at once, impossible to hide. Chenzhou. How does it feel when all your deals go down the drain? Not going so well, is it? Watching one contract after another slip right out of your hands? Let me guess. Is your Zhang Nian furious enough to go crazy? Is he about to fire you and blacklist you in the industry? So you'll never have a way back up, right? Her voice carried a sickly kind of triumph, as if she could picture me flustered and overwhelmed right now. A pathetic, desperate mess with nowhere left to turn. I didn't say a word, just listened in silence. It was like watching a clown's one-man show. But in her eyes, my silence only looked like weakness. That seemed to make her even smugger. Before I could speak, then Pei Jincheng's nauseating voice came through. Sister Yimian was only speaking in anger. Don't take it to heart. We were co-workers, after all. Why make things so ugly? Come back now and apologize to Sister Yimian. Let's just treat what happened before as a misunderstanding. There's no need to let a moment of impulse wreck your bright future, right? The two of them played the good cop, bad cop routine perfectly. I gave a soft laugh. Future. If Su Yimian has time to worry about my future, she should find a better accountant first and take a hard look at her company books. I'm afraid your little cash flow won't last many more days. Su Yimian's laughter on the other end cut off abruptly. It was replaced by an angry, humiliated snort. Chenzhou, you're on death's door and you still dare curse me. Looks like you really don't want to survive in this industry anymore. I'll give you one last chance. Right now. Immediately. Hand over every client file you have to Jincheng. Then crawl back here. To me. To Jincheng. And apologize properly. If you behave yourself, I can consider giving you your position back. You can keep being your design supervisor. Otherwise, wait to be completely blacklisted from the industry. But all I heard was the biggest joke in the world. Blacklisted from the industry? I'm afraid the one who gets blacklisted will be you. In the end, not so sure yet. Coming back to myself, I raised my wrist and checked the time on my watch. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Perfect timing. I cleared my throat and reminded her with a cold laugh. Su Yimian, do you still remember the one you signed back then? The 3-year cooperation agreement with the multinational Starry group. At that, the other end of the call clearly went still for a second. But Su Yimian quickly let out a mocking snort. So now you realize you've made a mess of things. A corner dog will jump the wall. Trying to pull strings now. Fu Chenzhou, who do you think you are? Only now you remember to use Starry Group to pressure me. Too late. I ignored her shouting altogether. And went on. By my count, today is the deadline for Starry Group to review your second-year design draft. I think they'll be formally notifying you of the termination very soon. What did you say? There was a trace of barely hidden panic in Su Yimian's voice. But she quickly steadied herself again, as if she had just heard some complete fantasy. Terminate the cooperation. Fu Chenzhou, have you lost your mind? What a ridiculous pipe dream. A multinational company the size of Starry Group is going to listen to a fired employee like you? Who do you think you are? Before I could reply, Pei Jinqing also put on a show of concern, as if he were doing this for my own good, and said in fake concern, "That's right, brother Chenzhou. Starry Group is one of the top names in the entire Asia-Pacific region, let alone you. Even Sister Yimian has only met Starry's executives a few times. If you contact them rashly, it's one thing if they ignore you, but if you make them angry instead, it could drag the company and the agreement into serious trouble." The moment Pei Jinqing said that, Su Yimian got angry. So that's why you suddenly brought up Starry Group. You were trying to stir things up on purpose, to make our company and Starry Group fall out, weren't you? Fu Chenzhou, you're truly vicious. But soon, Su Yimian seemed to think of something and sneered. But no matter how you calculate it, you probably never expected that I had already spread the news that you were fired and blacklisted to every company in the industry, trying to start trouble and throw the blame elsewhere. Let the company clean up your mess. Don't even think about it. Now hand over everything you have on hand and tell us all about your new employer. I can still choose not to hold you accountable and let you come back to the company for a paycheck. But hearing Su Yimian's superior, condescending tone, I was suddenly amused by how ignorant she was. Of course they won't listen to me. They'll only look at the design draft. And you don't have that draft. The moment she heard me mention the design draft, Su Yimian didn't take it seriously. What design draft? Stop with the fake mystic act. Our company is a strategic partner of Starry Group. Before Su Yimian could finish, a sudden burst of urgent, loud knocking came from outside the door. Then came her assistant's panicked voice, crackling clearly through the phone speaker and into my ears. "Miss Su, it's bad. Miss Su, the Asia-Pacific representative from Starry Group has suddenly arrived. They said they need to see you right away." Su Yimian's voice vanished on the other end of the line. I could imagine her expression right then, from arrogant to uncertain to grinding her teeth in fury. Sure enough, Su Yimian quickly demanded, "Fu Chenzhou, what exactly did you do? Don't think resigning lets you wash your hands of this. If something really goes wrong with the Starry Group cooperation, you, as the supervisor, won't escape it either. Compensating for the losses is your responsibility too. You really do have the nerve to turn the blame around." I let out a cold laugh and couldn't be bothered to argue with her. "Sorry, Su Yimian. You fired me long ago. I'm a former employee now. A hole this huge is not mine to plug. You'll have to shoulder all the losses yourself." The air went still for a second. Before she could answer, her secretary reminded her again. "Miss Su, the clients are here with the contract. They said they want to hand it over in person." Hearing that, Su Yimian seemed to think of something, and finally let out a breath of relief. She even brought the phone closer, and mocked me. "Fu Chenzhou, you heard that? They're just here for routine procedure. The second-year deadline is here. They're only checking the situation." Soon, footsteps drew closer outside the door. A group of sharp-suited people filed in one after another. At their head was Starry Group's Asia-Pacific representative, a stern middle-aged man. He held a thick stack of documents in his hand, sat down without a word, and slapped the contract onto the table. "We're here today, in accordance with the agreement process, to inspect the second-year design draft in person and complete the project handover." Su Yimian immediately put on her polished professional smile. "Of course, we've already prepared everything. Please feel free to review at any time." As she spoke, she turned to look at Pei Jinqing, silently signaling him to hand the materials over. But Pei Jinqing just stared blankly, as if he'd short-circuited. "What design draft?" The whole room fell silent. Only my scoff traveled through the phone. TSK. The so-called top talent at the company only ever knew how to eat, drink, and have fun. Only now did he realize he couldn't contribute at all. Looking at Pei Jinqing's bewildered face, Starry Group's representative frowned even harder. He flipped to the first page of the contract and jabbed a finger hard at the clause. Didn't your company promise to provide one original design draft every year? If you still can't submit it on time this year, we can only pursue breach of contract liability under the law. Pei Jinsheng's mouth twitched as he muttered under his breath. Fu Chenzhou is already gone. And nobody even reminded me. Where am I supposed to get a new design from? Only then did Starry Group's representative finally react. His face darkened like the bottom of a pot. He fixed Su Yimian with a hard stare, his voice terrifyingly cold. May I ask what your company means by this? We made everything perfectly clear before. We only recognize Fu Chenzhou's original design. Do you think Starry Group is easy to fool now? So you can just send anyone over with a trash solution to brush us off? In an instant, the atmosphere in the room dropped to freezing. Even the air conditioning felt unnecessary. Seeing the atmosphere turn ugly, Su Yimian hurriedly bowed and apologized. While explaining herself, she kept shooting Pei Jinsheng glances, signaling him to apologize. Unfortunately, his brain was still mush. He sat there like a wooden dummy the entire time. After all, in the company on normal days, Pei Jinsheng was either flirting with Su Yimian in the office, or at his desk playing games. He could play for an entire day at a time, let alone entertaining clients or negotiating contract terms, much less any real work. Even the most basic Word and Excel files, Pei Jinsheng couldn't even handle them. Every time he was at the company, he relied on his relationship with Su Yimian, bossing other co-workers around to do his work for him. Starry Group's representative on the other side went completely dark. He closed the folder and stood up. In that case, we will formally begin legal proceedings and seek compensation from your company. At the same time, we will terminate all cooperation. We will also notify the Industry Association and the Global Supply Chain Platform, so everyone can learn from this. Anyone who dares work with you in the future is asking for trouble. With every word he said, the air seemed to freeze into icy shards. It was like they were about to fall and stab someone to death. Su Yimian forced herself to stay calm, but her breathing kept turning ragged. Wait, there must be some misunderstanding. Give us a little time to sort this out. The other side cut her off without mercy. 10 minutes. Otherwise, our Starry Group legal team will contact the industry representatives directly. We'll handle this according to Starry Group's rules. With a sharp smack, the folder hit the tabletop. The sound was 10 times sharper than Zhang Nian's earlier slam. At that moment, I even felt a little wistful about the one-spirited, arrogant woman. Of course, it was only for an instant, gone almost immediately. After all, someone has to pay for some debts. It shouldn't be left to someone else to clean up her mess. Just as Su Yimian was sinking into despair, Pei Jinsheng froze for a moment, then suddenly spoke up and aimed the blame at me. He began denouncing me with righteous indignation. Fu Chenzhou, you really are ruthless. You're an old hand at this company, after all. Now that such a huge mistake has happened, you not only stand by and do nothing, you actually want the company to collapse. Have you forgotten how Yimian has supported and favored you all these years? If it weren't for Yimian and the company, would you have achieved anything you have today? The moment Pei Jinsheng said that, I laughed in anger on the other end of the line. My laugh wasn't loud, but through the speaker. It was enough for everyone in the meeting room who had pricked up their ears to hear it clearly. Supported and favored me? He really had the nerve to say that. I leaned lazily back in my chair, my voice dripping with undisguised sarcasm. Supported me? Master Pei, have you forgotten? When I joined the company, it was still just a sham operation with nothing to its name. Even Su Yimian herself was still an outsider who couldn't even understand a quote sheet. I spoke word by word, my voice cold as ice. It was me who spent countless sleepless nights drawing countless discarded drafts to build this team into one that can actually get the job done. And favored me? Hearing that from your mouth is the greatest insult to me. These client channels the company has now built up. Asked Su Yimian. Which one wasn't paid for out of my own pocket? I used real money, and one round after another of drinking sessions that left me bleeding from the stomach to get them. Ask her again what she said in the first 2 years when the company was just starting out. She said the company was struggling, and asked me to be understanding when my pay didn't increase by a single cent. Then, when the company started making money, what did she say? She said she wanted to expand investment and dangled a huge promise in front of me, saying she'd make it up to me double later. And the result? I paused, then let out a light laugh, as if I were telling the biggest joke in the world. The result was, you, young Master Pei, a fresh parachute hire who knew nothing, turned around and bought a brand new sports car. And me, the one who helped her conquer this territory, the veteran who had once saved her company from the brink. What did I get in return? I got thrown out on my ear. I got threatened with a blacklist. Now the company has a hole so huge you could drive a truck through it. And you are all running around with your heads on fire. And now you want me back to clean up your mess. I asked coldly in the end. Why should I? The moment I finished, silence fell on the other end like death. But soon, I heard my former co-workers whispering among themselves, unable to hold it back. They sounded like a swarm of buzzing bees. Brother Fu is right. If it hadn't been for him, this company would have folded years ago. Exactly. Su Yimian really lost her mind this time. She pushed out the real moneymaker for a bunch of pretty boys. Did you forget that difficult client last time? Everyone else had been stuck for half a year with no progress. But Brother Fu made one call. And in 10 minutes he had a 10-year contract signed. We are done for. We are done for. Brother Fu really is washing his hands of this. This company is probably going to collapse. The voices weren't too loud or too soft. Just loud enough for everyone in the conference room to hear. I could imagine the looks on Su Yimian and Pei Jincheng's faces right now. They had to be more colorful than a paint palette. I let out a cold laugh. What does the company collapsing have to do with me? It's nothing more than Su Yimian reaping what she sowed. Pulling myself back, I said calmly. Enough. The show is over. I'm hanging up. The next second, Su Yimian cried out anxiously. Don't hang up. I have something very important to tell you. I frowned. I thought she was about to fly into another hysterical tirade at me. But after a moment of silence, Su Yimian drew a deep breath and said humbly, Zo, I was wrong. Su Yimian's voice had somehow turned sweet and tender, as if we had never broken up, as if we were still the lovers we used to be. I was surprised, even wondering if I had heard wrong. That Su Yimian, the one who was always so high and mighty, barking orders at everyone, was actually willing to soften first. She was trying to hand me an easy way out. But then again, it made sense. Now that her biggest backer, Starry Group, was ready to rip the mask off and turn on her, what else could she do except beg me to come back and clean up her mess? What other option did she have? But that attitude, arrogant before and courteous after, was honestly laughable. Why are you making this sound so sugary, Su Yimian? We broke up long ago, didn't we? You should give up on that idea. I am not going back to your country to clean up your mess. Seeing me lay bare the truth in one sentence, Su Yimian froze, then stammered. Zo, don't be angry. I was impulsive before. I was so furious I lost my head. I take back the decision to fire you. Come back, okay? Come back to the company and help me. Her voice was laced with deliberate flattery, and it made my stomach turn. I couldn't help but laugh coldly. Su Yimian, back then at the airport, you said some pretty harsh things. Didn't you say the company would be the same with or without me? After all, Pei Jincheng, this top-tier talent, was there. Didn't you say that once the company really hit a crisis, he would show what he can do? That he would save the company and turn danger into safety? The breathing on the other end clearly caught. After a moment of silence, Su Yimian seemed to be biting the bullet and throwing out her best bait. Zo, I know that when I was managing the company before, there were a lot of places where I was wrong. But I'm serious about asking you back this time. As long as you come back, I'll promote you right away. I'll make you the design director. You'll manage the whole team. Okay. That was quite a big carrot she was dangling. You have to know, the last time I got promoted was 5 years ago. All these years, in order to keep control over me and make sure I wouldn't threaten her, Su Yimian deliberately made things difficult for me in promotion evaluations more than once. So for 5 years my salary and position had been stuck in place. Too bad I was no longer the fool who could be spun around by a few sweet words from her. I only gave her 2 words. Not enough. Before the words even faded, Pei Jincheng started playing peacemaker again, all fake concern. Fu Chenzhou, isn't that a little too greedy? He used the tone of an elder lecturing a younger man, and started trying to guilt-trip me. You can't be this heartless. Su Yimian was so good to you before. She fed you well and treated you well. How could you just leave like that? You didn't leave her any face at all. You are too greedy. Hearing Pei Jincheng's name, I couldn't help but laugh coldly. Mr. Pei, I think Su Yimian has pampered you too much. You do not even know what ordinary life looks like. And even more than that, you have no idea how ridiculous those two lines you just said sound to me. When I was building this company with Yimian, I didn't just live frugally. I ate boiled vegetables every day, with a splash of vinegar and soy sauce, and that was it. I even smoked the cheapest cigarettes. That old Volkswagen I drove for more than 10 years didn't even have a working air conditioner. In summer, I was drenched in sweat, and in winter, I froze to the bone. I only mentioned that I wanted to save up for a new car worth around 100,000 yuan. Do you know what Yimian said? She said, "Azo, we're starting a business. How can you be so money hungry, so vain? Do you know how much a car like that cost? Once you add all the extra fees, and that's just buying the car. After that, you'll still have to maintain it and repair it. If there's an accident, you'll have to pay compensation too. It is nothing but an endless money pit. The ridiculous part is, such a crude bit of manipulation. And I actually believed it back then. As for you, you only had to like a post about a brand new Porsche in your social feed. The very next day, she could not wait to swipe the company card and put the keys in your hands. She even dressed it up as a company car, so it would be convenient for you to pick her up and drop her off from work." I said nothing else, but sometimes silence is more powerful than any words. I could almost picture the deathly silence in the conference room, and my former co-workers, after suddenly understanding, turning their eyes toward Pei Jincheng with a look reserved for some high-end freeloader. It took a long moment before Yimian's voice came again. This time, she had completely dropped all her pride. "Zhou, I admit I wronged you before. So, to make it up to you, I can give you 20% of the company shares, as long as you come back and settle Starry Group's order and resolve this crisis. From now on, you will be the company's second largest shareholder." That was a temptation too huge to ignore. If it had been 3 months ago, I probably would have been grateful to tears and agreed on the spot. But now, my heart had long since gone cold. "I can." And on the other end, Yimian seemed to exhale in relief. But then I spelled out my condition word by word. "But 20% is not enough. I want at least 50%. "What?" Hearing my demand, Yimian's voice shot up instantly, like a cat with its tail stepped on. "Chenzhou, are you out of your mind? 50%? Why don't you just rob a bank? Do you really think the company can't survive without you?" Listening to her frantic, furious voice, I felt nothing but numbness. Looks like she had truly forgotten it completely. Forgot how, back then, she had held my hand, and what promises she had made to me. I could not be bothered to beat around the bush anymore, and I reminded her coldly. "Yimian, do you still remember? 3 years ago, when the company could not even pay salaries, what did you say to me?" "What do you mean, 3 years ago?" But the roar on the other end of the line cut off abruptly. What replaced it was a long silence. I knew she had finally remembered. After a long while, she swallowed and said, guilty and uneasy, "Zhou, of course I remember. It is not that I do not want to give it to you. It is just that I cannot right now. I will definitely give it to you in the future." Even now, Yimian was still dangling empty promises in front of me. I could not help but let out a cold laugh. The future? Forget it. Someone else's charity. Chenzhou, do not want it. After that, I did not give her another chance to speak. With a light tap of my finger, I hung up. Then I blocked her number. In an instant, the whole world felt quiet. What happened after that was exactly as I had expected. Starry Group's legal department worked with stunning efficiency. Within a week, the formal notice terminating cooperation, along with a lawyer's letter demanding 5 times the liquidated damages, were delivered to Yimian's desk together. The suppliers she had poached by offering double the price heard Starry Group had pulled out and immediately turned on her without hesitation. They even sued her for malicious competition and demanded compensation. And once the dominoes started falling, there was no turning it around. Soon, Yimian's once thriving company was buried under lawsuits and sank deep into a debt trap. Its stock price also plunged. As for the cruel words Yimian had once thrown at me, her threat to blacklist me across the industry, it had become the biggest joke of all. A company that could not even save itself and had completely lost its credibility no longer had even a shred of say. With the blockade gone, at Mr. Zhang's overseas company, I quickly found my footing with a few strong design proposals, and after learning about my last relationship, so that I could get out of the shadows faster, Mr. Zhang even took the initiative to set me up with someone. Fu, what do you think of Luna from our company? When Mr. Zhang suddenly brought up Luna, I could not help but freeze. Luna was HR and had only recently joined the company. Though young, she was remarkably seasoned and mature at work. Since joining, she had not made a single mistake, and had even helped me a great deal as someone from a foreign country. Of course, she was also recognized across the company as a stunning beauty. Not only was her figure alluring, but her smile had a healing warmth to it too. It was as if the exhaustion of an entire workday melted away with it. Compared with Su Yimian's permanently stiff expression, as if the world owed her a fortune, she was far better. Snapping back to myself, I nodded. The girl is pretty good. She's beautiful and talented. But why are you asking me this, Mr. Zhang? At that, Mr. Zhang gave a mysterious smile. That is perfect. I knew you had good taste, kid. Luna is the daughter I had with her white mother. Not long ago, she told me that she fell for you at first sight the moment she joined the company. So I will just say it plainly. Tonight, my daughter wants to ask you to go to the movies with her. You better seize the chance. Without giving me a chance to respond, Mr. Zhang left 2 movie tickets, then grinningly closed the door. I froze for a moment. Then I stuffed the tickets into my pocket. A new life. Maybe meeting some new people would not be so bad. That same night, I had dinner with Luna and watched a movie. Maybe it was the more open atmosphere here. Because after the movie ended, Luna wrapped herself around my arm without hesitation, pulled me into a photo, and posted it. In less than a minute, an account had already commented below, demanding, Fu Chenzhou, who is this woman? But I had no impression of that account, since I had drunk quite a bit. So I did not pay much attention to it. I just assumed it was a classmate I had not been in contact with for years. But when I woke up the next day, my phone would not stop ringing. That was when I realized the account from yesterday was now constantly posting animate photos of Su Yimian and Pei Jincheng, or showing off the new car she had bought for Pei Jincheng, and even made Pei Jincheng deputy manager. She was shamelessly flaunting their relationship. Only then did I remember that it was a burner account Su Yimian had registered years ago. I knew she was posting all this just to provoke me, to make me regret it, but I did not budge. I directly blocked and deleted Su Yimian's burner account in one clean sweep. After deleting her, the world felt a lot quieter. I thought I would never see Su Yimian again in this life, but I still underestimated just how shameless she could be. I saw her again at the company team building event 3 months later. That day, I had just finished a business dinner and stepped out of a private room when I came face to face with Su Yimian standing at the door. When she saw it was me, her eyes lit up. She jogged over to me and grabbed my hand. Fu Chenzhou, why did you block and delete me? Ever since you left, I have been showing off my relationship with Pei Jincheng on Moments every day. I posted so many couple photos. So, why were you not jealous? You clearly could not stand seeing me get close to Pei Jincheng before. Back then, I only shared a cup of coffee with him and bit the same straw. And you were furious enough to flip the table. So, why do you not react at all now? I gave a cold laugh. That is right. Back then, I was furious enough to flip the table. But did you not say I was too controlling? That my mind was filthy, and that I saw dirt in everything? You also said that you and Pei Jincheng were only a simple boss and subordinate relationship, and told me not to overthink it. Weren't you only hoping I would be generous and magnanimous? Now I am doing exactly what you wanted. You should be happy. Seeing that I was unmoved, Su Yimian gripped my hand even tighter. Panic flashed through her eyes. But you have become so magnanimous that it is almost unsettling. That is not good. Can you go back to how you used to be? Ever since you left, not a single day has passed that I have not missed you. I posted those couple photos on Moments, just to make you jealous and angry. But you did not react at all. I admit you won. We have been in this Cold War for so long, and punishing me for this long should be enough by now, right? Look, for you, I even forced myself to overcome my psychological barriers and went abroad. So stop being stubborn. Come back with me, okay? Although Su Yimian did this for me, and even overcame her childhood trauma to go abroad, it really did surprise me. But I had no intention of going back with her. The hurt she had caused me in the past would not disappear just because she apologized and changed. I pulled my hand back coldly and said each word clearly. Su Yimian, give it up. I am not going back with you. It is over between us. Besides, I stopped loving you a long time ago. But Su Yimian shook her head, refusing to believe it. Impossible. You clearly love me this much. How can you just stop loving me like that? I sneered back. Did you not also stop loving me whenever it suited you? Ever since Pei Jincheng showed up, your heart had been drifting away without you even noticing. Every business trip and every bit of business entertaining was nothing more than an excuse for you and Pei Jincheng to go on dates. Did you really think I did not know? Su Yimian was speechless. Then she noticed the bracelet on my wrist. Hope rekindled in her eyes. Fu Chenzhou, I knew you still had me in your heart. Otherwise, why would you still be wearing the matching couple bracelet we asked for at Love Temple? But this was not our couple bracelet at all. It belonged to my current girlfriend and me. I threw the one with her away a long time ago. I was just about to explain when Luna, AHR from my new company, walked out of the private room. She hooked her arm through mine and claimed me right in front of Su Yimian. You must be my boyfriend's ex, Miss Su, right? You are mistaken. This bracelet belongs to Fu and me. It is not yours. Su Yimian stared in disbelief at Luna, who was standing close to me. After a long stunned silence, she finally demanded, What did you say? Boyfriend? You are dating? I do not believe it. Fu Chenzhou loves me so much. How could he possibly date someone else? Suddenly, as if she thought of something, she smiled with sudden relief. I know now. Fu Chenzhou. This woman is an actress you hired to piss me off, isn't he? She is actually acting pretty well. Too bad the bracelet cannot be faked. My name is still engraved on it. Su Yimian kept talking as she yanked the bracelet from my wrist. When she saw Luna's name engraved on it, she was completely dumbfounded. How could this be? Why is it not my name? I said coldly. This is the matching couple bracelet my girlfriend and I wear. Of course it should have my girlfriend's name on it. Only then did Su Yimian realize I was not lying. Fu Chenzhou, your girlfriend can only be me. I will never agree to the two of you being together. Luna gave a light laugh and shot back, sharp with sarcasm. Miss Su, you are nothing more than Fu's ex-girlfriend. You have no right to object. Come to think of it, I should thank you. If you had not been blind and failed to treasure Fu, I would never have found such a great boyfriend. You are our matchmaker. When we get married, we will definitely not forget to invite you for wedding wine. I wrapped an arm around Luna as well, and looked coldly at Su Yimian. Su Yimian, it is over between us. Please do not come bother me again. Su Yimian wanted to say something else, but her phone rang. I do not know what was said on the other end, but after hanging up, she hurried away, seeing that she left on her own. Luna and I did not think much of it. We continued with our original date plans. Over the next week, I did not see Su Yimian again. I thought she had probably seen there was no way to turn things around, and had already chosen to return to China. But one day after work, I carried some groceries home, planning to make Luna a lavish Chinese feast. I wanted to properly thank her for all the help she had given me lately. But as soon as I reached the door, I saw the kitchen inside was lit up, and the smell of stir-fried dishes was drifting out. Thinking that Luna had recently been pestering me to teach her how to make Chinese food, I could not help letting the corners of my mouth lift a little. Looks like Luna had left work early to prepare a surprise for me. I quietly used my key to open the door, ready to surprise Luna while she was not paying attention. But when the door opened, I froze on the spot, because the person standing in the kitchen was not Luna, but Su Yimian. At that moment, she was wearing the white dress I had given her years ago, right after graduating. She carefully set the last dish on the table. When she saw I was home, she first froze, then forced out a smile. Fu Chenzhou, you're back. Work must have been hard. I made some of the dishes you used to love. Don't worry, I do not mean anything by it. I just wanted to properly say goodbye to you. Did you not used to love the dishes I cooked most? I looked at the Sichuan dishes on the table, all covered in red chili oil, but felt not the slightest stir in my heart. It was true. I used to love spicy food above all else. Even if Su Yimian just threw together leftover rice fried with lao genma, I would still eat it with relish. But she seemed to have forgotten. Or maybe she had simply never cared. Over the years, while I was working myself to the bone for the company, I had already ruined my health through business entertaining and overtime. I developed a stomach illness years ago and have been on medication ever since. I had not touched spicy food since then. After so many years together, she did not even know that. I snapped back to reality. My gaze toward her grew even colder. I did not even pick up my chopsticks. I dumped every dish, plates and all, straight into the trash. 10 seconds. Get out of my house now. Otherwise, I will call the police and report you for unlawful entry. At that, Su Yimian's eyes reddened at once. Fu Chenzhou. A lot has really happened to me lately. I just wanted to. Before Su Yimian could explain, I cut her off. 10, 9, 8, 7. Seeing that there was not a trace of feeling left in my eyes for her, Su Yimian bit her lip hard, then ran out of the house with red-rimmed eyes. And I did not spare her a single glance. I simply hired a locksmith in silence, planning to replace the lock core with a better one. I heard about Su Yimian again later. A week later. Only then did I learn that Su Yimian had left in such a hurry that day, because Pei Jincheng had run off after emptying the company accounts. By the time Su Yimian rushed back to China, the company had already gone bankrupt from a cash flow collapse. Su Yimian was buried in debt and had completely lost any chance of making a comeback. That was why she used her last bit of money to fly over and find me. It was her final goodbye to me. After that, perhaps because she felt life was hopeless, she directly used the satellite tracking data from the phone she had bought for Pei Jincheng to find him in another country and demand an explanation. After learning that Pei Jincheng had only approached her with bad intentions, all just for money, in a fit of rage, Su Yimian blamed all her misfortune on Pei Jincheng. She snatched up the scissors she had long hidden in her bag and drove them straight into his chest. According to what I heard, Pei Jincheng's end was especially gruesome. Not only was his chest stabbed more than a dozen times, even his mouth had been hacked apart by Su Yimian. And after killing Pei Jincheng, Su Yimian was arrested, imprisoned, and deported back to China. After going to prison, she called me, looking full of regret. Fu Chenzhou, I was wrong. You warned me back then to be careful of Pei Jincheng, but I suspected you were just jealous and causing trouble. I should have trusted you. If I had, I would not have ended up like this today. That bastard Pei Jincheng ruined me completely. Chenzhou, I am sorry. Can you forgive me? When I get out, let's get married, okay? I said coldly. I will not forgive you, and I will not wait for you anymore. Goodbye, Su Yimian. No. More like, never again. After hanging up the phone, at the wedding venue, the officiant had just called my name. Mr. Fu, willingly take Miss Luna as your wife, to stay with her through this life, never leaving her side, supporting each other until the very last moment of your lives. I do. The next second, I let out a soft laugh and strode toward the stage, straight to my bride.